What's up, YouTube, man? It's your boy, Big Rojo, Convicts Perspective, joined by my host, as always, once again, Big Flacco's in the building, and he's smashing. He's dashing. Sliding up through with a little bit of energy. Hey, today we're going to talk about, man, this is only a perspective type of deal. These are not going to be any kind of facts, anything that we've read, anything we've seen written, any kind of filters, kites, wheelers. No firsthand knowledge. This is just me and Flacco talking about something, man, that I'm sure a lot of you guys are curious about now, and we've been asked about recently, man, is the current situation that's going on with the regrouping of everybody coming back together as one group as far as the NF goes. Is that going to affect the hostilities, the end of hostilities agreement within the state of California? Now, personally, I think, this is my opinion, that it will not, because things have gone smooth. Other than this incident in Lancaster that we still don't know the root cause of, you know, if there's something, you know, that wasn't authorized by something, wasn't some kind of combination of both groups agreeing to do this for whatever reason, that could be a hitch in the system, man. But for all intents and purposes, everything's gone very smooth with the end of hostilities as far as the North and the South. Money's being made. People are out on the main lines. The main line has always been the place that people have strived to be on. You know what I mean? That's where everything goes down, all on privileges, incentives, entitled to a convict, grounds we must secure, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I know those things are from, you know, the old format stuff, but those are basic goals that need to be fulfilled. Nothing's getting accomplished in the shoe so much, except recruitment, maybe in training and things like that. But everybody knows that the end game for all of these groups is the almighty dollar. The almighty dollar is a lot more plentiful when you're out on the main lines than sitting back in them shoe programs. So from a pure business standpoint, and this is purely a damn business, albeit a very violent one, I would say this shouldn't affect anything if they're smart. That's my take in a nutshell.
I kind of agree with you, bro. I've been giving it some thought, man. Talked to a few people, and you know, the end all hostilities, right? There's two points that I have to this. I'm just going from my own personal perspective. One, I don't think anything will change unless anybody gives them a reason to have it change, first and foremost. But I do think there's going to be drastic changes as far as relationship wise. I think what was going on over the previous people that were running things in the state, the buddy system, the doing dealings and interactions with other groups, as far as even, you know what I mean, having certain individuals from the other side working with them, I think that's going to probably be either limited or eliminated altogether. I think the directions are going to go a whole different direction. I think that you'll have, maybe you may have more issues, but there'll be more restraints. I think things go back to how security is supposed to be. And that's just a personal perspective. You know what I mean? Anything could happen at any time. I think that the ones that have the strong relationship, the working relationship, and we're working towards a common goal with the guys from the other side, are the guys that just recently got indicted. We already know that how the feelings are of the scenario that happened in the feds. But the feds and state are two different animals, two different beasts, two different groups. And so if something's been able to coexist, you know what I mean? I don't see no drastic changes, you know what I mean? Especially if you're out there, because we know the repercussions of what could happen if anything starts to escalate. But that's just a perspective, man. I really, really honestly don't know. I think regardless, you know, the new information that's going out there and all this other stuff, I think that there's still other things that are more concerning, more things that need to be ironed out than worrying about what to do with the end of hostilities. You know, if something's been set in stone and it's been working, you know what I mean? Why try to break that up? Especially when the ultimate goal is to make money. Ultimate objective is to do this. I think now there won't be as strong working relationships as there was, but I could be wrong on that too. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to think. This is my opinion. You know, it's like being in a prison. You can be at one prison and have a cool interactions with a particular group, where in another prison, it could be kicking off. That's the same way you got to look at it with the feds and state. What occurs maybe in the feds can't translate and affect what's going on in the state. You know what I mean? So that's the thing that I see right there. And lo and behold, you know, the person who's basically been given the reins to handle their business in the state, just got out there to the main line. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't out there for the end of the hostilities in the beginning. He's been in death row for a minute. So we don't know where his mindset's at. And so you got to let him process everything and come up with a plan to put in place and whatever they're going to do. So everything right now is basically at the point to where things have to be ironed out. I mean, the end all hostility issue, I don't think, you may have certain people that have a certain opinion or ways about it or views on both sides. But if the ultimate goal is one thing, is to be out there in the main line and enjoy the privileges and incentives, to make money, to do things for the gente, I think that could still stay in motion. But then again, I don't know, bro. Honestly, this is a topic that's kind of hard for me to give a perspective or view, because I don't know what's going on in other people's minds. I don't know what people have been feeling about this the whole time. I just know that a lot of people say that in the state, they need leadership right now. The old leadership took them down a direction that they did not want to go. They did not like the things they were seeing. You know what I'm saying? And so now it's all about them restructuring and regrouping and putting out something to where people out there can adapt and want to be a part of. That's just my opinion. I don't know. It's really a hard topic for me to elaborate on, man. I know everybody's asking the questions. What do you think is going to happen? Honestly, I don't know. I can sit there and play the tape out of different scenarios. You know what I'm saying? And one of which I don't wish any type of war, conflict, or battles or anything like that, man. It's kind of so much easier to coexist with other groups, even if they have different system of beliefs than you do. Go ahead, do your thing, but stay the fuck out of our issues. That's how you got to have that type of attitude in there. It's the moment where you start to have these relationships that cross over business lines and you start to build friendships. I never heard of having friendships with a foe. That used to be one thing they used to say, is show respect to your oppositions, but never get too attached to anybody just because you're having respectful interactions. Keep that limited. You know what I mean? Befriend people. You know what I mean? That whole mindset. But you know what I mean? Some people crossed over into other areas, man. And like I said, there was a lot of people that were doing dealings with, they had people from down the other way that were actually working under them. And the more and more that starts to happen, think about it like this. All these groups have a hard enough time getting along within their own group. The politics get sticky, they get corrupt, people campaign. It's not just the NFMA, it's all these groups. So how do you think that's going to play into a factor if you start trying to have business relationships with them? You already can't have a hold of your own people. You got your own issues politically over here. How are you going to have that and try to enforce all groups as one to work hand in hand? You know what I mean? So that's just my view on it, brother.
And I'll tell you another thing too, man. Within the last few years, with the decline in actual quote unquote active members of Northerners, and the Southerners are feeling it too with the Deuce Fibers and all that stuff, but their membership is vastly more extensive, you know what I mean? So they have numbers, still. What I see, man, is any war or potential end of hostilities, I should say, between these two groups would further diminish their available, soldados, essentially. They've both been taking a whooping ever since the invention of the S&Y yard. And people are dropping out at like in mine and your time, we would have said that'll never happen type of rates, bro. So another thing, if the end of hostilities ends, some people aren't going to be feeling it, man. There's a lot of people that never knew life pre and before these hostilities. That's how, this is what they know. Everybody just kind of chilling and nothing really going on, not too much threat or interference of the opposition. None of that kind of shit's going on, man. So they don't even know the old school way that we came up on, where things were kind of dangerous, man. You're going to lose a lot of them youngsters. You're going to lose manpower. They're going to be talking about reopening the shoe instead of doing a couple years. They're not going to be able to do it because it's unconstitutional, but they'll start slamming you back there again for maybe 5 years on a validation type of thing. You know what I mean? And as soon as that starts happening, they're going to do it to everybody, bro, because that's what they want to begin with. They're not happy with the way things are going. The system doesn't like it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They're trying to create those issues.
At any individual in the system, that's just the way the system is. The system's not designed for everybody getting along and coexisting. That's not what's good for them. You know what I mean?
I mean, look what they did with the Bulldogs. They put the Bulldogs out there 11 times. It was 11 or how many times they put them out there?
Fucking more than that, like 20 something.
And then try to self-justify that, oh, this is why these groups can't coexist. You know what I'm saying?
They've been running that shit for years. They know if they put a Bulldog and let's say a Southerner together and they fight, they know it's all bad. If they put a Bulldog and a Northerner and they fight, it's all bad. If they put them out there and nothing happens, it's all good. If they do it again, it's all good. If they do it again, it's all good. They're not stupid, bro. But 17 fucking times, 23 times, some asinine number. Let's just keep putting these dudes out there. Like, fuck them dudes. They're using you as chess pieces, bro, and it's not right. You know what I mean? It's bad enough when your own people do it, but then when the administration does it too, man, you can't win. You know, and if these end of hostilities goes away, life's going to change for a lot of people. Forget the phones, forget all that money. They're going to put a halt to that shit. A lot of
you know,
be gone.
And these relationships that are now cross political boundaries, right, allow you to make more money than you could before. Because before you really couldn't interact or do business dealings with other groups. You get what I'm saying? And so it opens up
people because you're not supposed to use dope.
Exactly. So now think of well, that you know, from my understanding, that's changed in a couple of facilities, right? But I don't know if that's going to be, you know, me enforced now. But you're absolutely right. I mean, who are you going to make money off of? Your own people?
The white boys don't fuck with you. The Southerners don't fuck with you. The brothers. I mean, that's it. And they got their own shit going on.
So having those doors to have working relationship, it's going to depend on what facility you're at, who has access. If you up north, you already know who's going to plug that pipeline. You know what I'm saying? So it's an interesting dilemma. It's up for debate. It's a discussion. I mean, I don't think anything's going to change. I think right now, I think every group has their own personal issues that are more of need of attention than to worry about the other people. You know what I'm saying? Right now, it's a time era where people self-politic more than ever before. I mean, there's more internal struggles, there's more internal strife. So those are within all these groups. You know what I mean? I mean, I know because of our past affiliations, we're able to discuss one particular group, man, but don't get it twisted. All these groups have political issues within. You know what I'm saying? So,
hey, yeah, I'll tell you what, man, I talk, everybody knows, man. We talk to inactives from both sides, actives from both sides, inactive and active big homies from both sides. You know what I mean? So we know a lot that's going on out there. Always. We stay abreast. But we still don't have these particular answers for you. And I would say this to say that these are the kind of times that we're in. And this is kind of the lesson for today, man. Don't go to prison because you never know what's going to happen tomorrow in prison.
Yeah.
That's my word of advice out of this video. Another quick point I wanted to make, Flacco, was now that we're not looking at, let's say, a state fed, two different groups, essentially. We're looking back at one again. When the people that happen to be in the feds are able to see fully everything that's been going on these main lines as far as bling bling, even if at first they were like, man, fuck them end of hostilities, that right there could make them totally rethink everything as well.
Yeah, most definitely. I agree.
Times have changed since them gentlemen were in California to the amount of money these yards have been able to generate and the organization on them and the recruitment and everything and blah, 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 blah. It's all elevated with these end of hostilities on the main lines for as far as action, as far as, you know, wiggling, as far as money, as far as everything, the phones, everything is totally, if they came, man, bro, if they fell asleep in Pelican Bay in 1999 and they woke up now, they'd be like, what the fuck's going on? You know what I'm saying? But in a positive way though. You know what I mean? They'd be like, man, this is fucking dope. You know, so it doesn't make no sense for the end of hostilities to end. I've always been an advocate for it, and not because, you know, I don't want to fight or something like that, something stupid. It's just smart, bro, financial wise. You want to run a business, you got to make the best decisions for your business. Sometimes you got to let go of a partner. Sometimes you got to make, you know, sometimes you got to move your business from one area to the other. There's all kinds of things that happen. If this is about generating income, the end of hostilities is the best play.
Not just that, brother. What we're not touching base on though, is it gives gente opportunity, bro, to learn a trade, to get a pay number, to take advantage of things, man. I mean, those are more important. I get the financial part of it, man, but if If we're promoting that, we're promoting illicit activities because we know how they make that money, man. I'm not here to promote that.
No, we're not
But
trying to promote that. I'm just telling you guys the reality of the situation.
yeah. Well, so what was I saying again?
About all the incentives and privileges and shit.
Well, yeah, it gives people an opportunity. People want to program. They want to go out there. They want to play basketball. They want to play handball. They want to have those special purposes. They want to have those contact visits. You know what I mean? Those are things that are deprived of you when you're up in the shoe. You know what I'm saying? And so you got to have foresight. That's the problem. Like, you can't have that thinking, okay, they're the enemy, they're the opposition. We're not supposed to coexist. We're not supposed to program. Well, what's the alternative to going to war? You know what I'm saying? Where does that, how is that going to affect the people? Is this war so serious that's basically hasn't been going on for like how many, like 40 some years, bro? There really has been no really interaction. There was a lot of North and South issues, a lot of bloodshed on both sides, man. But you know what? You know, that's the same thing was happening on the streets on both sides. You know what I mean? So you just got to play the tape out, man. Like, what's going to be, you know, I mean, that's the thing when you talk about certain individuals within this group, you can't have that violent mentality, bro. You can't have that, okay, this is just how it's supposed to be. You got to have foresight. You got to take off the blindfolds, right? And not have tunnel vision. You got to think outside the box and look at everything from an analytical perspective. What's going to be more beneficial in the long run? Being out there on the main line. You know what I'm saying? And that just goes with everything. It's a crazy topic, man. Me and Rojo were discussing this for about an hour before we got on here, man. And there's just so many different things you have to consider, man. And the ultimate thing you have to consider is what is going to be the best interest for the gente, period. That's the only thing you need to answer. Is it going to war, being back in the shoes, being locked down, not getting no trade, not getting no pay number, not going to the store? You know what I mean? Not getting contact visits. You know what I mean? Because we already know what happens. You know what I mean? You know, and the minute you start to bring issues and conflicts and war and all that is the moment they start to hit the houses constantly, looking for weapons, looking for pieces, looking for cell phones. Nobody wants the attention. If things can run smoothly and operate smoothly, there's going to be a lot less attention that comes from prison administration.
I'll tell you what, too, man. I talk to a lot of different people from a lot of walks of life, man, and I know for sure, like in a couple institutions, I'm not going to say anyone specific, man, but you know, the homies were really looking out for each other as far as like getting jobs and shit. You know what I mean? Around the institution, getting into various programs and whatnot. And you can't do that and focus on things like that when you're at war. You know what I mean? When there's them kind of tensions and animosities on the yard, there's really only one focus from the time you get up and the time you go to bed, and that's just keeping track of everything that's going on around you and exchanging information and so on and so forth, man. You're not going to get into any kind of programs, bro. You're not going to be able to get into anything. They got all kinds of programs now to get you home sooner and shit like that, man. You finish this, finish that, finish that. I don't know what they're called, man, but they didn't have them in my time. But it'll get you some time off your stuff, man, and make you look real good for the board. You know, for people who got, you know, a date and they got parole board coming up, you're not going to have access to those kind of things sitting in Pelican Bay, Corcoran, Tehachapi, any of those kind of places. You know, you're not going to be able to advance your education. You're not going to be able to do none of that. Just the simple things, man, that you should be trying to do to better yourself.
The only downfall that you can possibly say about the end-all hostilities, right, is it gives you a lot more room to wiggle, a lot more to be involved in certain activities that if you come up short or you make the wrong choice or wrong decisions, it could cost you your life. That's the only thing I see that's different. You know what I mean? So be cautious of your activities, be cautious of what you're doing, man. And you know what I mean?
That's another thing too. Take it from two individuals who've been there, man. It's a high stakes game. You know, it's not, you don't get grounded. You don't get none of that, man. You know, so you're thinking about making this your lifestyle of choice, man. Know that before you go in, that anything you do could have the ultimate repercussions. You know, not always, don't get me wrong. I mean, they're not just going to whack you for no reason most of the time, man, but it's a dangerous lifestyle, man. And you got to be prepared to.
Yeah. Well, that's my point. That's my point on it, is it gives you more opportunity to get put in those situations where you can get crossed up.
Yeah.
A lot of people, you know what I mean, they make haste choices and decisions without thinking it out. And those choices may put you in an uncompromising situation to where there's no way out of it. And the only way out of it is your life. That's the reality of prison. today.
You remember what Flacco brought up just recently, man, about how decisions can be affected by one individual's mood that day, or his being, you know, slightly inebriated off maybe whatever it might be, whatever they might be using that they're not supposed to use, or whatever. You could just have a bad day that day. No person is perfect. You know what I mean? And there's gonna be mistakes and things that should have been done and things that happen. You don't. What I'm trying to tell you is, it's dangerous, man. It could, anything could happen at any time. Whether you think that you're in there for murder, you've done everything cool, you put in work, you've done some removals. Man, tomorrow, bro, you get caught with the phone, you might die for it, bro. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. Just think about that stuff, man. And the hostilities is a good thing, I think, for everyone involved, bro. You know, and that's not coming from coward, because I don't give a fuck. I'll fight. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. I'm just saying, for everyone involved, every ethnic group, every gang, every person that has people in membership, going to visits, contact visits, using phone, even if there's not a cell phone, man, you don't see no phone in the SHU program. You don't get even the wall phone. This call is very, you don't get that. I never seen a phone, bro. You know what I mean? All that stuff out there that are good things that have came because these indeterminate SHU programs got deemed however they got deemed. One or two little incidents between any of these groups can end all that stuff like that. Something to think about, man. All the things that everybody's out there enjoying, you know, you get to see your aunts, uncles, moms, children. That could change real quick. You could be sitting up there in Crescent City, no phone, no more shopping sprees, no more VIPs like Gunner says. Go talk to people. What do you think, though? Honest opinion. And the hostility stays or goes?
Me?
Yeah,
I think it stays.
I agree.
I mean, then again, I don't have the
They're
answer.
not perfect, but that's just my opinion based on.
You know what? But you know what though? If it's gonna end, it's gonna because one of these groups decides to take, it feels disrespected by the other side, and that one of the sides does not decide to take care of an issue. You know what I'm saying? Once, okay, look, regardless, you know what I mean, this is a strong feeling. Regardless of any northerner or southerner, right? Whatever group you align yourself with, you're not going to tolerate no disrespect from another group just because there's end all hostilities. If disrespect occurs, a drug debt occurs, or any of these issues occur, and that side decides not to deal with it, is going to be the trigger for any type of this stopping. You know what I mean? That's my personal opinion. As long as you got proper leadership that can control these things on both sides, it can coexist.
Yeah, they seem to have done it fine for what? Quite numerous years now, closing in on a decade, right?
Yeah, but I mean, let's just keep it 100, bro. This is what I've heard. A lot of those people that were previously in leadership positions, a lot of their interactions with people on the other side were not what you would call acceptable. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people wanted to have a voice on these issues of what they've seen and the interactions they've seen from these people holding leadership positions. Now that's out the window. You got a new sheriff in town, and we'll see how it goes. You know what I mean? I think it'll continue, but like I said, I don't think there's going to be no open interstate compact of dealings. And I mean, there ain't going to be no more acts of business ventures or interactions that you would call treasonable, is what I'm going to get at.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it'll be a little tighter. Then the hostilities will probably still remain, but the reins will be pulled in, so to speak, man. You know, everybody go back to normal. And, you know, it's possible to exist without, you know, all of that. You know what I'm saying? Like Flocka was saying, respect. Man, respect is, man, it's always on a little line, bro. The line can be broken real easily, you know. But I agree. I think they'll stay because it's just the best interest in everybody's currently serving time and that are going to serve time. And, you know, obviously the financial things that we speak about, there's nothing but positives. I just don't have a list of negatives.
Ask yourself this question. You know what I mean? Who benefits if it no longer exists? Who are the ones that benefit from it?
California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation.
Exactly. They got shoes waiting to fill up. And they
and the S&Y groups.
Yeah, and they
They're
get
gonna
twice
get
the money.
they're gonna get a whole bunch of new members.
Oh yeah.
And I'll tell you what, there'll be ramifications, man, for people who've been doing that funny stuff, man. It's gonna happen, you know.
Yeah.
They know who they are. We know who they are. Y'all know who they are. It's gonna be rough. Gonna be some rough times ahead, man, but everything should get back to normal.
It's
But
rabbit
shit,
season.
huh?
I said it's rabbit season.
You never I thought I saw Wabbit. Yeah, hey, I don't
I
know.
do.
Who knows? Hey, maybe all the little babies too, all the little baby rabbits probably too. You know what I'm saying? They don't even care about their hunting license. But anyway, YouTube, that's enough funnies. This is just our thought about the end of hostilities, man. I would say, now I can't say that this is what's going to happen, but I say the smart decision is to leave things how they are right now. Like Flacco said, there's going to be some adjustments for sure. There's got to be.
You know, it's hard, bro, because I'm not answering with my head right now. I'm answering what I want to happen. You know what I'm saying? I'm just keeping it 100. I'm not answering with what I think is going to happen. I'm answering more with what I want to happen, if that makes sense.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
I just can't pull out no negatives.
I don't think anything's going to last forever, bro. It's my personal opinion. It's prison. It's a volatile environment. A lot of corrupt individuals, a lot of criminals. It's kind of fucking hard to get along for that fucking long. But we'll see. I hope. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know?
I just see so much more positive for everyone involved than negative.
So
by a landslide.
In other words, what I'm saying is this. Yes, I think it'll exist, but in the back of the mind, I'm saying no. That's just me keeping it real.
It's a hard one. It's a hard one. I know there's people in there that probably already know the answer. There's a few of you who are privileged to that type of information. You know what I'm saying? Hope everything works out where everybody's safe and they get to go home on their dates. Best thing to do, not get in there in the first place, get you a job, do something productive. Be all you can be, whatever you want to be, though. Your boy Rojo, Big Flacco, a little bit of this is straight perspective. This is just what we think. You know, this is with not reading nothing.
I'm all over the place on the guys. Part of me says yes, part of me says no. I don't know, though. That's just the answer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a tough one, man. Let us know what y'all think in the comments, man. And your boy Rojo will probably go live right around 7 p.m. normal time, West Coast. Appreciate y'all. Have a good rest of your day. Much love and respect.